Just an absolutely great day. My last name is Weatherby, so I took care of the weather for us, so that was good. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Scott Weatherby. I'm the Director of Athletics, and I'll try to MC this and get us through, but what's crazy, a little less than a year ago, we stood out here for our groundbreaking. Let me think about that. A year ago, it was August 31st, we were breaking ground, and now less than a year, we're looking at this great big facility. It's unbelievable. We got this beautiful building, the video board behind us. We got the video board working a little bit. At least we can put a frame up. Today's a historic day for the university, for our athletics department, for our coaches, our staff, and our student athletes. The Student Athlete Performance Center has been a top priority of ours because it will enhance our experience. We talk about our student athlete experience a lot and provide resources for our coaches as well. But today's the day to celebrate. We're going to celebrate, and I've got a lot of thank yous. The president does. Chairman Webb has a lot of thank yous as well, so we want to make sure we have the opportunity. Through the program today, we're going to thank those that dreamed it, designed it, built it, funded it, supported it, and we're also going to hear from those that are actually using it. I'm going to do my best along the way to not miss anybody. That'll be a challenge because so many people did a lot to go into this. And I'll try not to butcher any names. Those on my staff know that I do not do well with names. So I'll do the best I can. I want to start by thanking everyone that made it here today. Brick buyers, Sweet and Loge ticket holders, football donors, championship building plan donors, our corporate sponsors, our community leaders that made it, executive council, our regents, faculty, staff, fans, and lastly, our student athletes. I want to thank everybody. If you don't fit one of those categories, we're always looking for donors and season ticket holders. So wherever Dan or Britta, you can see them to make sure we get you in one of those categories. But because of you, we're here today. Without each of you supporting this, we wouldn't have had this opportunity. I would like to thank all the student athletes that are here, for them to know that we work every day to help give each of them the resources they need to be successful. Let's give a big round of applause to our student athletes that are here. I do have to thank my senior staff, my team, Aaron Keto, Stacy McMullen, Dan McLean, Andy Rowden. They're my four right arms. They make everything happen, and I truly appreciate them. A big thank you to Adam Martin and our facilities crew, Nate and Andrew for help getting the building ready for today. Also want to thank Britta and Kathy Steiner for putting this event on. I didn't say help putting the event on, they put it on, so I appreciate all of their hard work. And then I have to thank a special thank you to Dylan Saccone, who is our Director of Football Operations. He's literally staying next to me through this whole journey since last July. He's been in every meeting. I would actually say he's probably been in more meetings than I have been in, and doing his daily job with the football program, but also helping me. It means a lot that he has been there through it all. I also want to thank my staff that has had input into the building, all the coaches who shared their thoughts and ideas, and I appreciate their patience as this building has taken up a lot of time, especially building so quickly in 1 year. I want to personally thank President Smith, his wife Connie, our executive council, and the rest of the president's staff for supporting the project. President, without your leadership, this grand opening would not be happening. To kick off tonight, I'd like to introduce President of Eastern Michigan University, Dr. James Smith.
So first and foremost, Scott does not get credit for the weather. Many of you were praying that we were not inside and that you wanted to be outside and you wanted to be in the sun. Several of you mentioned that anybody taking pictures will have glare from my head. Thank you for making that known to people standing around me. And also, although it was already said, thank you for the student athletes being here. Thank you for your commitment that you give year-round to your sport. And thank you for making this your new home. I hope you will find it as homey as a building this size can be. And as Scott said, the miracle of building a building this size, this shape, this configuration in 1 year is a tremendous feat. So my first job is to introduce the people that make our board what it is and allow us to do the good work that we do here. So let me begin first, and I'll ask each of them to stand. Chairman Jim Webb. Vice Chair Michelle Crum. Mike Hawks, Chair of our Athletics Committee. Dennis Began. Eunice Jeffries. Alex Simpson, and Mary Treater Lang. Thank you all very much. Regent Baird, Rich Baird couldn't be with us today. He had a death in the family, but I know Rich wishes that he was here, and certainly his heart is with all of us as we have the opportunity to unveil this great building. It's also a real pleasure for me to be able to announce emeritus regents who are joining us today, and we have 5 former chairs with us today. Former Chairman Dick Robb, please stand. Former Chairman Tony Derazinski. Former Chair Phil Incarnati, former Chair Roy Wilbanks, and the chair who allowed me to be president, former Chair Mike Morris. Other emeritus regents that are with us today, Regent James Clifton, Regent Emeritus James Clifton, Regent Emeritus Gary Hawks, and Regent Emeritus James Stapleton. Jim, you can stand up. You can stand up. There we go. We also have a number of politicos that are planning on being here with us. Some of them have said they will arrive late, so I know 2 are here. And if I overlook any of you, I apologize, but we'll see you inside if we don't get to announce you here. State Representative Ronnie Peterson is in the crowd. Ronnie, thank you. Superior Township Clerk Dr. Lynette Finley is here. And some of you are going to wonder why I would announce a person that has spent a lot of time being a police officer, but really just doing it on television. It's our pleasure to have back our friend, our alum, and our colleague, Mr. Dan Florek, who many of you will know from Law and Order. Thank you all for being here. All of you, thank you for this opportunity to unveil this building as we think is appropriate for today. None of this would happen. We're going to hear from Barton Mallow. None of it certainly would happen without them. But without our physical plant team led by Vice President John Donegan, this certainly would not have happened. So John, I know I saw you in the audience here. Here we go. You can stand up, John. And we have his whole team here. Let's get the team to stand up. Thank you. A.D. Weatherby admitted to the fact that he had something to do with the opening, but that his staff had a lot more to do with the opening. So, Scott, thank you, and thank you to all members of the staff that made this happen for today. It is clearly an exciting day for the university. It's an exciting day for the athletic department, but most important, it's an exciting day for our student athletes. And I say that very intentionally. Our student athletes are indeed some of our very best students. And if you don't believe me, take a time during the course of today and talk with them. Ask them some questions. Ask them about their major. Ask them about their aspirations. I think you'll be impressed with what you see as the young women and young men who are dedicated to the classroom as well as dedicated to the athletic field of their chosen sport. This is the first facility in 20 years, if you don't count the bubble, it's the first facility in 20 years that we've built dedicated to athletics, athletic performance, and student performance. I think that alone deserves a round of applause for being able to pull this off. It is part of a $100 million series of projects that are going on campus right now around capital construction. We are renovating Sill Hall. If you've been by, it looks like a parking garage because we've taken everything out of every floor. Some of you are shaking your head yes. Looks just like Strong Hall did about 2 years ago. The excitement around Sill Hall and our College of Engineering and Technology, which is fun to say, new name for the College of Engineering and Technology, our new campus community health center that we will do in conjunction with IHA and St. Joe Mercy Health System. And I think Bill Manns and Alonzo Lewis are trying to be here. Are either or both here? Oh, here we go. Oh, look, we got a whole team over here from St. Joe. Thank you all. They had such a far way to travel, such a distance. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your collaboration that will, on November 1st, allow us to open our next new building on campus. And if you've not seen the Rec IM, floors 3, 4, and 5 are nearly finished. And then 1 and 2 will be this year's project, and we will have a completely reconstructed Rec IM that the students have invested in and believe in and want to be engaged with. So altogether, $100 million worth of construction we're doing to make our campus bigger, better, and bolder. On Friday, we'll have hundreds of new students on campus. They'll be moving in. They'll be lost. Their parents will cry. They will not. But we hope that they will see these as investments in not only our university, but in each of them individually. To all who are assembled, community members, leaders, neighbors, please know that the importance of these facilities are seen and will be seen throughout the campus life. Not just as it's being built, which either of those buildings we may refer to are being built, but as they stand for years and years to come. I want to thank all the donors. As Scott said, if you don't fall in that category, we can fix that by the end of the evening. We have lots of people to be happy to help you with that. We want to thank the donors for their contribution to making this great facility possible. And now it's my pleasure to have Chairman Webb, on behalf of the members of the Board of Regents, say a few good things about what is happening today and what is happening in the view of the Regents. Thank you all very much. Have a great afternoon. Go Green!
Thank you. When I was here a year ago, I made the same comment. My high school football coaches would be really proud of me because I finally made it onto the field of the Division I football team. I saw it for the first time this morning, and I am just so impressed. It was a long time coming, a lot of struggles, a lot of other opportunities for us to put our resources into this university, but this is money well spent. It's as you go into this building, you'll find the weight room, and it's called Lang's Garage, and I think it ought to be changed to Hart's House of Horrors. But he's the strength coach. But thank you for all the Board of Regents that are here and supported this project, and the Emeritus Regents who gave us a path to walk down. Matter of fact, I think I ought to make mention here that Mike Hart and Gary Hart are the first father-son team to sit on the Board of Regents. And thank you. But there are people who really made this happen. Athletic Director Scott Weatherby and head football coach Chris Creighton. They did the needs analysis, they gave us the ideas, and worked diligently on the design. It was their vision that they put forward to us that we needed to act on. Athletic Development Director Dan McLean, along with Bill Shepard, Vice President of EMU Foundation, went out and found the money to make this happen. This is being built completely with donor dollars. We are not taking anything from the general fund. And one of the great unsung heroes in this university that you never hear about is Mike Valdez. Mike is the vice president of finance, and you can have all the ideas in the world you want, but unless he can find the money for you, it's not going to happen. So Mike, thank you very much for your diligence. And of course, is President Jim Smith, who gives us guidance, thoughtful ideas, and diligence. You are a wonderful leader. We are so proud and so lucky to have you with us. And then the people who worked on this day in and day out. The building and grounds crew, Scott Sorer, Tony Duty, and John Donegan. They were here day in and day out in the rain, snow, hail, and flock of locusts once, I think. But they're the ones who really made the building come to life. I'm a proud alumnus of Eastern. Technically, I guess I'm a double eagle, but never on the golf course. And a former student athlete. Many of our coaches instill more than just the X's and O's into their athletes' psyche and character. For example, Coach Creighton has gifted his players with a valuable lesson just recently. As he went through this process, he taught them how to say thank you. Now I know in the young people's world, texts, tweets, instant messaging, or emails may seem adequate to say thank you to somebody who's done something for you. But Coach Creighton taught them how to do it correctly. I have handwritten thank you notes for the seniors in this team who took the time to say how much they appreciated what we did. And it was Edward Doherty IV who said, "We understand it was a difficult choice to say yes, but we are more than happy you did, and thank me for supporting this project." It's sitting on the Board of Regents and looking at projects is like having a child and someone asks you, which one do you love the most? Frankly, when they were in middle school, probably none of them. But the options were Strong Hall, Sill Hall, the Rec IM building, the Health Center, and what we hope will come to be our College of Engineering. So they were all worthy projects, and we finally were able to figure out how to do this. And I'm so glad we did, and I hope you put it to good use. I know you will. And thank you to Barton Mallow. The work that they've done on this was remarkable. As Scott mentioned, it was August 31st last year that we broke ground, and here less than a year later, it's finished. Well, mostly. They're still doing things with carpeting. Barton Mallow is an award-winning leader in higher education and other construction projects across the country, including some of the most well-respected universities, hospitals, auto companies, public schools, and hotels. Barton Mallow's work on this project exhibited their excellence, timely completion, professionalism, and quality of workmanship. It was a pleasure working with them. The president of Barton Mallow is Ryan Maybach. He has been with Barton Mallow for 25 years. And Ryan and I first met serving on the Greater Detroit Chamber of Commerce's Board of Directors Executive Committee. And it was at those meetings I recognized his logic, his diligence, and his character. Ryan will chair the Mackinac Policy Conference this coming year. And those of you who follow these things note that this is a gathering on Mackinac Island every June of the business leaders in Michigan and the political operatives. It's a daunting task, and as chair, he's responsible for everything that goes right and that goes wrong. And normally you worry about a speaker not showing up, but the biggest problem on Mackinac is no rain. If you've ever been on that island, you think it's hard to catch a taxi in New York. Try to catch a horse-drawn taxi on Mackinac Island when it's raining. And by the way, if there's thunder and lightning, they put the horses back in the barn. And I don't care where you're going to walk there. But that's Ryan's greatest fear. Ryan also is on the Metro Detroit Heart Association Board, the Parade Company Board, the Purdue Civil Engineering Department Advisory Board, Woodside Foundation Board, and he is a member of YPO, the Young Presidents Organization. I was a member of that for many years, and now they've put me into a group called YPO Gold. That rhymes with old. But Ryan's been a very competent leader, a good friend, and I would mention to you, by the way, that when he graduated from Purdue with a degree in engineering and came to work at Barton Mallow, the first job he worked on was the Convocation Center. Welcome home.
Chairman Webb, appreciate the kind words, and I was going to start out with that if you'll indulge me on the personal note, but to Jim's comment, you never quite know where your career will take you, and I don't think 22 years ago when I showed up to work on the Convocation Center I would anticipate being here, standing here, dedicating this facility, because as we were working on the Convocation Center, we would stand at that curtain wall and look out across the field and imagine what this space would look like, and we always saw opportunity. And so to stand here today and see that opportunity realized in the way that it has is very exciting, very rewarding, and very meaningful. And I think in our business, much like athletics, you can really measure tangibly success or wins and losses, if you will. And as we look at a project like this, there have been many references made already to successfully accomplishing a tight schedule. To be able to design and execute a facility like this in 18 months or 12 months in construction is really pretty remarkable, and it's, I think, a credit to many. To be able to accomplish budget expectations, the efficiency of this building is truly unique and quite noteworthy, very, very remarkable. And so very much a success from a cost standpoint. From a safety standpoint, we look to positively impact people, and creating a safe environment is very much part and parcel to that. We were able to accomplish this project with no recordable incidents while working just shy of about 100,000 man-hours, which is, very, very noteworthy. So it's not only, though, the tangible measures of success, but it's also more the subjective measures that really make a project meaningful. And I think as all of you that compete on the athletic field or in a pool or in a court realize, it's when a team truly comes together that it really feels like a success. And I think as several references have already been made, how athletic leadership, how physical plant leadership, how project team leadership, how our designers, IDS, O Sports, many constituents came together to be able to work very, very collaboratively to accomplish those results is, again, very, very noteworthy, and I think a real credit to all those involved. And I guess finally is I'll take a note from Coach Crichton's book and say, while not in written form, I guess use this opportunity just to say thank you. We very much appreciate the opportunity to have helped you realize your vision. Thank you from my standpoint to be able to have this opportunity to be back on campus and to celebrate this accomplishment with all of you. So thank you, and all the best to the teams that will make great use of this facility, and all the best to EMU in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. I actually reminded Ryan that we did beat his alma mater last year, but I won't rub it in. What an incredible job they did. He talked about the short time frame, but I want to thank Justin, Nate, Paul, Joe, Jeff, the rest of the Barton Mallow crew, IDS on the design side, O Sport in the engineering part, Beckett and Rader's team. They just did a great job. One thing we did do for everybody that touched the building, we came in and told them, if you had anything to do with the building, we want you to come to our first football game. We want your families to come to the first football game. They can see, one, how hard you work, two, what you actually are doing at work, and come and celebrate with us so they can see the new video board and see the new building. So we're excited. We're going to work with Barton Mallow and their whole group, and we're going to try to help. It is our family weekend, and so we're going to invite their families as well, and we're looking forward to that. I know we mentioned them, but I certainly would be remiss if I didn't at least mention them and acknowledge them. Is working alongside Barton Mallow the whole way was John Donegan, Scott Storer, Bob Denzik, Tony Duty, Chris Longerbeam, Kay Sakarik. they were instrumental along the whole way. This team truly is transforming what our university looks like, and I just want to give them another round of applause. Thank you, guys. I too, obviously, the president talked about our Board of Regents, both current and our emeritus. I appreciate their unwavering support for athletics. It means a lot. We feel it every day. To former Chairman Morris, he was chair when we got this approved in December of 2017, and I know you had a lot to do with this day, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you. So the next group I want to recognize and thank is our Champions Advisory Board. This advisory board to the athletic director started about 4 years ago, actually before I got here. We like to call them the CAB. They wanted to come in, have a vision for a championship building plan to impact as many student athletes as possible and bring a lot of great pride to our campus and our community. It is because of this group that we are here today. They had the vision. This board has given of their time, given of their money for the past 4 years to finally see this day happen. I'd like for them to stand and be recognized as well for our CAB group. So Anthony and Brett, Janice, Sharon, our whole crew. Matt, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. One member of our CAB here tonight needs no introduction, but he deserves a big thank you. A now retired 10-year NFL veteran, played for the Packers and the Lions, who wanted to support this championship building plan, but he also wanted to recognize his dad, who had such an influence on him, which means the new Strength and Conditioning Center will forever be named the Thomas J. Lang Strength and Performance Center. TJ Lang, please come up and say a few words.
Why is this show so short, Scott? Well, you know, a lot of work went into this building right behind us. It may not be the most gaudy building in the country, but unless anybody else is having a grand opening today, it's the newest athletic performance center in the country. Can't remember the last time we said that here at Eastern Michigan, so it feels pretty good. Like Scott said earlier, I'm going to be quick because I'm just excited to see this building as you guys are. We started our CAB, as Scott talked about just a few seconds ago, back in 2015, and a lot of great people, a lot of former athletes in that group, ranging from every single sport that Eastern has to offer here. I was talking to Dan McClain earlier. Dan's been here, I think, longer than anybody else in the athletic department now for a while. We started this sort of vision back in 2015, and there was a lot of ups and downs. We didn't really know which way we wanted to go. We didn't know how big we wanted to make it. We understood that we had to live within somewhat of a budget. But one guy that came in 2017 from Mississippi State, Scott Weatherby, came in. I think there was a lot of nerves when we switched athletic directors. He came in and assured us this building, this plan that we had, this dream that we had, it's not just going to be a priority, it's going to be the top priority. Here we are 2 years later looking at this brand new building. I think it says a lot about Scott and the athletic department, the work that they've done day in, day out to make sure that this building got done behind us. It's going to be, being an athlete here, this is going to make such a big difference for our university and our athletic teams, just being able to spend time together instead of a tiny weight room across the field there. But I wanted to thank you, Scott, for coming in and making this a possibility, because it was a dream up until the point you got here and said we're going to make it happen, and we did. So thank you, Scott. The last thing I wanted to hit, and he mentioned the weight room in this building. My dad was always a guy who, I came from a really big family. He was a guy, we're from a pretty small town, Ferndale, just north of Detroit. He was born and raised in Ferndale. He lived there his entire life until he passed away 8 years ago. But it was always his kind of you know, he put the demeanor in me to never forget where you came from. You know, and any chance you have, always remember to pay it forward. So when this building came into fruition, we started talking about the weight room, which is where I probably spent most of my time here at Eastern Michigan in the 4 years. It came to a point where it just hit me saying, you know what, I don't want anything named after me. You know, I'm not that kind of guy. Let's think of another name. The first thing that popped in my head was obviously my father, who made it here for every single game. He loved Eastern Michigan. The man wore maize and blue up until the day I signed here, and he wore green and white the rest of his life. So he loved Eastern Michigan. It was just a tremendous way for me to pay it forward to the athletes here at the university, and also pay it forward to my late dad now, who's going to have his name on that building for the rest of time. So it feels really great. A lot of other great people out here. I can't thank everybody. I'm excited to see this building, just like you guys are, and a lot of hard work went into this. And I hope the student athletes that get to use this, don't take it for granted, man. A lot of work, a lot of years went into this building behind you, and it's for you guys. I mean, it's for you guys. It's for the generations after you. So each day you walk into that building, especially the weight room, you know, make sure you're making all the alumni proud and everybody that's family for you guys. And ultimately it's for you guys. So enjoy it. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, TJ. And as you can see, the weight room, for those of you who haven't been in, obviously most of you have not, this section sticking out is actually the weight room, which is now named after TJ's dad. But I know TJ doesn't like naming stuff with him on it, but we have tagged that with the 2 garage doors there as TJ's Garage. So we work out in a garage, and you'll see a big sign that has TJ's Garage with his signature on it. And so we're excited. But a big thank you to you and Laura for supporting and being a lead gift. All right, so as you go through the building in a few minutes, you'll see rooms, offices with names after individuals. Each one of these individuals gave a gift at a certain level to have their names associated with that office or that room. I would like for those individuals that did naming rights inside the building to please stand and let us say thank you. So if you did a naming rights in the building, I know every one of our naming rights, there's about 20 of you, all made it today. So please don't be shy. Stand up. TJ, stand up. Brett, Phil. Good. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. You know, TJ was one of our lead gifts for the building, but I'd like to highlight a few other gifts we received. I want to mention their location and say thank you to those individuals and families. I'd like to first thank Phil Incarnati for his generous contribution to naming the Phil Incarnati football locker room. Phil is a former Eastern football player, former chair of our Board of Regents, and all 3 of his children graduated from Eastern Michigan. Phil, thank you. Thank you so much. Another lead gift was Mr. Dan McClory. Dan could not make it tonight. He lives in California, and those that know Dan, he travels a lot. He's probably in China or on his way back. Dan is a former track student athlete, and you know, I really appreciate his friendship, his contribution, and his love for this university. There's not many that love this place as much as he does, so I appreciate Dan. Next, I want to thank our official health and wellness partner, St. Joe Hospital, for their partnership. We announced this partnership this summer and look forward to strengthening our brands and our communities together. If you haven't heard, we used to refer to the bubble on the back side here. It is now officially the St. Joe Sports Dome at Eastern Michigan University. I'd like to thank St. Joe President Bill Manns and his team who are here today. I know we recognize them. So thank you so much, Bill. Appreciate you guys coming, being a part of this. I want to make sure we get some photos later. So the first part of the building that we'll enter after the ribbon cutting is our Champions Atrium. You will notice when you walk in, there is a 12-foot MAC trophy. We have won more MAC championships than any other school in the MAC, 147. Okay? So it's hard to explain, but I'm not even 6 feet. It is twice as tall as I am, so for reference. It is going to be something that whenever our next championship is, we'll actually have that team come and take that 147 off and put 148, and it's a great photo op, so I hope everybody sees that and enjoys it. On the opposite wall is a whole eagle like habitat, so you will actually be able to see that we have a perch for the eagle to sit on. The eagle was sitting on it earlier today. The live eagle is here. So it's a great chance to get some photo opportunities, and we're proud to be Eagles. So we mentioned that, and you'll see that in this atrium. But in this atrium, it will forever be named the Klaus Family Atrium. So this atrium is named after Brian Klaus. He was an outstanding offensive lineman in the late 1980s who passed away this summer after battling cancer. Brian was a gentle giant. I had never met Brian, but I certainly met a lot of his teammates and his family, and they talked about how he was such a gentle giant, loved art, loved Eastern, loved his family. His wife Jill is here today. I think there are a number of Klaus family members here. I'd love for all of you to stand and be recognized. Where's our, there we go. So the naming of this atrium, and we also named the Players Lounge after him, so it's the Brian Klaus Players Lounge as well. And this was made possible by friends of the Klaus family. They wanted to make sure that Brian's legacy and love for Eastern would be recognized and would allow all of us to have a lasting memory of him. After you walk through the Klaus family atrium, you'll have the opportunity to enter the Michael Hawks Hall, which is named after our current regent, Regent Hawks, who is serving his second term on the board in his 9th year as chair of the Athletic Affairs Committee. Beyond supporting this project financially, Mike has spent so much of his time supporting our athletics department and helping us behind the scenes and helping me personally. He has helped us to secure multiple sponsorships and build relationships that have been extremely valuable to Eastern and our athletics department. I want to personally thank Regent Mike Hawks for his leadership and dedication and ask him to come up and say a few words. Mike.
Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Scott, and everybody else involved here. As Scott mentioned, I've had the distinct pleasure of being chair of athletics for several years now. And I can assure you this is the most exciting day being in that position. When you see the number of things that do come across your desk, this is by far the most exciting day for me here at Eastern Michigan University since I graduated. So exciting, I dragged my family down here. They're in the front row down there, and they have to listen to this for a while. But in my role as chair, I get a first-hand look at the drive and competitiveness of our student athletes as they pursue team and individual goals. Their commitment to the community through thousands upon thousands of hours of community service is remarkable. But most importantly, their academic success in recent years has been unparalleled. Thank you to the faculty, coaches, alumni, mentors, and many others who provide so much support to our student athletes, many of whom are here today. This impressive facility demonstrates our collective vision for EMU athletics. Today, I look forward to showing off the building as it is truly a game changer for our sports medicine and athletic training programs. Following our remarks, we will offer a preview of the new video board. We get to do this again on September 21 when we play Central Connecticut. We're going to light it up. I hope everyone can make it to the game. Please tell your friends and encourage them to buy tickets and come to the games. Every bit of support helps. I'm very proud as a former football player. I know the sacrifices student athletes make and how a facility like this can impact the student athlete experience. I want to thank all of those folks that have been mentioned today earlier and others who weren't mentioned for their very generous support to this project to date. As others have stated though, we have a ways to go and we need additional support and to continue our strong momentum that we have here at Eastern Michigan University. Please get involved, stay connected, and continue to support this university. I thank you in advance. For our student athletes here today, Once you graduate, we hope you remember this day and this broad commitment to your success, because one day we know you will want to return to this university so that you can be involved in supporting the next generation of student athletes. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
All right, thank you, Regent Hawks. You know, we've talked about some of the areas, TJ's Garage, the Klaus Family Atrium, the Phil Incarnati Locker Room, Brian Klaus Players Lounge, Michael Hawks Hall. We have other areas in the building that we'll also get a chance to tour that are like the coach's office upstairs, recruiting lounge, the equipment room, and the sports medicine suite. The sports medicine suite is a really important area of the building. That may be the most impressive of all of them when you get a chance to see it. This suite is located on the second floor on the back end. Here, this space is truly a game changer for all of our student athletes, and it'll affect every one of them. I'd like for Gretchen Buskirk, who oversees all of our sports medicine area for athletics, to say a few words about the new facility. Please welcome our Associate AD for Sports Medicine, Gretchen. There she is.
Well, we didn't measure the heat index before this, but I do know it's hot, so I'll keep this short and sweet for everybody. But on behalf of our entire student-athlete population and our sports medicine team, I'd like to thank you for your generosity, which helped make our sports medicine facility one of the best in the Mid-American Conference. This endeavor tripled our sports medicine space and offers multiple private exam rooms, a designated cardio and functional rehabilitation space, and an impressive hydrotherapy room. It is literally a one-stop shop for all of our healthcare needs for our student athletes. Now, I think it's safe to say that no student athlete really enjoys being injured and spending a lot of time in the athletic training room. We get that. We know. However, this space makes the injury recovery process a little bit more enjoyable, and it also helps keep our athletes on the field. We're even thrilled that we've upgraded to real windows and Wi-Fi, so thank you. Most excitedly, our large in-ground hydrotherapy pools will help our athletes recover faster in between practices and games. And while our first ever underwater treadmill will help prevent athletes deconditioning, it will decrease the time they are sidelined with an injury, and it's the only one of its kind on our campus. So we're extremely happy and excited to have this in our facility. The hydrotherapy equipment alone is tremendous. It's a tremendous asset for every single one of our student athletes. In all, this space is just an invaluable resource for every student athlete here, for our athletic trainers and our team physicians as well. And it allows us to provide the highest quality health care for every student athlete here. And it's a huge competitive advantage for our athletic department. So thank you again for helping making this Student Athlete Performance Center a possibility and enhancing the experience of every single student athlete here at Eastern Michigan.
All right, thank you, Gretchen. I appreciate all your hard work. A couple other quick thank yous. I want to thank Greg Steiner and our media relations staff getting everything put together and all the stuff for social media with the new facility. His staff has done a great job. I'd also like to thank Dave Bean and Lazy Boy for donating the furniture you'll see in the recruiting lounge in our head coach's office. Dave is an alum. Is Dave here today? Make it? Okay, I couldn't remember if he was going to make it here. But just want to say thank you. So the 2019 season marks head coach Scott Hall's 21st year leading our Eastern Michigan women's soccer team. I've asked Coach to come up, say a few words, and introduce his seniors and captains. So, Coach Scott Hall.
Well, if President Smith's head's going to bother you, mine's really going to get you today. Thank you. I'm here to talk a little bit about the impact that this building has not only on football, but some of the other sports too. To do that correctly, I've asked one of our captains, Nicole Remendillos, to come up also. She's a senior. Yep, you can come up here. She'll talk a little bit on the student athlete, the impact that this building has on the student athlete, and I'll talk a little bit just on programs in general. I think Scott asked me up here because, again, I have been here for 21 years. I was a student athlete here as a men's soccer player, was lucky enough to be an assistant here and then become the head coach for the last 21 years. In my time, a lot has changed. Before we kind of get into the impacts, again, I want to thank President Smith's vision for this university, not just in athletics, but on the academic campus to help us with recruiting has been fantastic. The Board of Regents, the donors. A couple other quick thank yous, people that I don't think get the thanks that they should. Ben and in the equipment room, his design of the equipment room and input and how it impacts the women's sports, the little details you'll see when you go through there. We want to thank him. Gretchen for her details in the sports medicine, the details that help on the women's side, fantastic. And then Fred and Fink in the weight room, the little things they did for us. It's a bigger picture. They're looking at different things. A lot of people think it's just football. It's all of us. All of us are impacted by this. On the bigger picture, just 10 years ago, my office was in Bowen Fieldhouse. My players changed in the Convocation Center. They had a locker room that was over there. Our practice field was in behind this building. Our game field was in behind this building. And our indoor practice facility was in Canton, Michigan, 10 miles down the road. All right? That's 10 years ago. In 10 years now, we have the indoor bubble. We have our locker room and office space right next to the indoor bubble. We have a practice field right next to that game field. And now this building for sports medicine and our strength and conditioning. It's unbelievable the impact that this has on our student athletes. Unbelievable the changes that have been gone through in this university. So we thank everyone here that's been involved in that. Again, it's awesome.
Getting to see the new building take form this summer and patiently waiting to finally see what's on the inside has been exciting for women's soccer. Having more space and being able to utilize all the equipment, we're able to use our time wisely and get what we need to get done more efficiently so we can focus on being on the field and getting that MAC title. We want to turn that 147 to a 148 on that big trophy that Scott mentioned. Yeah. Having the new sports performance facility just a field away from our locker room has many benefits, whether that be grabbing a snack from our new fueling station before practice or being able to check in with equipment who are always willing to lend a helping hand. We are very grateful and fortunate by having everything we need in one area. There is much excitement throughout this year's team for this season. We've worked hard all summer and have put the time and energy into making this a great year. As we head into our 2019 season, on behalf of the women's soccer team, we thank all our donors and the people who made this building happen. We hope to see as many of you out at our games this year because it's going to be a good one. Yeah.
Thank you to Nicole and Scott. Bill, I'm going to work on them about Bubble versus St. Joe Sports Dome. It'll take time. I will plug that their next home match is Sunday, September 22nd. All of our home matches for soccer are free. They're actually a great family event. Come out, bring a chair, do that. Come out and see them. They are 1-0-1, so we're excited about that as well. Coach Creighton and his staff have put in countless hours to make the football program competitive again, and he and I talk a lot about what this performance center will do for our student athletes and for our football program. I'd love for Coach to come up now, share his thoughts on the performance center and what it means to the program. So, your head coach, Chris Creighton.
Hey, this is an awesome evening. I know it's warm, and we're about to go see this thing. But we want to thank everybody here. Here's the deal. There was a vision, and now it's a reality. There are blueprints, and now there's walls. And the biggest thing is that it happened because people care. People care. And in my humble opinion, not enough people do. Not enough people really give the respect that this place earns and deserves. And so the people sitting out here tonight, this is a celebration because you care about this place. You had faith and courage to take a step forward in a tough climate to do that. But that's what leaders do, and that's what people do when they care about something. And here it is. We got it. It's a $20+ million athletic facility here at Eastern Michigan that's going to transform this place. You did good, I promise you. You did good. And we really, really appreciate it. We really do. We've got our coaching staff is in the back in gray polos. Our 26 seniors are up here in black polos. We're all going to be in the building. So I think right after this, we're going to go see it. And please don't leave without asking one of the soccer team members, any of the athletes that are here tonight, our football seniors or a coach, how this place, how it already has impacted our program and how it's going to continue to impact our program. I'll tell you one quick story. I'm going to introduce you to one of our senior captains. We had a recruit up in my office after we'd been in it for about 3 days. He didn't know what he was saying, but he sat on the couch and he goes, I was just down at another school in the MAC and they got a pretty nice stadium, but he said, I'm an offensive lineman. I don't care about that. He goes, they don't have anything like this. And he didn't like try to make some huge statement, but I'm telling you, I was sitting there and I'd never once heard that ever in 6 years, ever. And inside I was like, what did you just say? What did you just say? It's a big deal for all of us, and it's a big deal for the future. It's a big deal for this department, and it's a big deal for all of Eastern Michigan University. Let's celebrate tonight, and let's be proud. Thank you so much. Mike Glass is our senior quarterback, one of 4 captains, along with Vince Calhoun. Step forward, Vince. Kevin McGill in our secondary, another captain. And then Shaq Van, a running back. I'm going to get all 26 seniors. So I just want to introduce to you Mike Glass. Yeah, Mike.
How y'all doing today? On behalf of Eastern Michigan football team, we would like to say thank you for providing us with this amazing facility. You guys helped make Rynearson Stadium look that much better. Also, we're going to make sure that we utilize this facility to become better athletes. And we also going to make sure that we respect it as well as other sports and other people respect it and make sure we keep it clean. And also tune in this weekend because we will be getting a road win for you guys against Coastal Carolina. Thank you.
Appreciate Coach and Mike. So we're going to finish this up so we can get you inside. I know it's hot. We wanted to make sure we got our thank yous in. It was just a joy to watch our football team walk into the building for the first time and just see their reaction. And if you saw it on social media and the videos, it's special to see how much it meant to them. And I really appreciate all of you coming out for what is a monumental night for us. I'm going to just do kind of a quick reminders on how we're going to do the rest of the evening. In a few minutes, we're going to have our cheerleaders and our student athletes lead us. We're going to actually march around the building to the front. For some of you that are too hot or have some limitations, can't make it around, we'll sneak you through the side. The regents and our cab members, I need you and St. Joe, if you could, we'll sneak through, get some photos as people are coming around. We'll do the ribbon ceremony at the front because I want you to walk over the bricks. See the big 16-foot bricky that's out there. I know a number of you did a brick, get an opportunity to see that. We want to cut the ribbon there, get a bunch of photos, and then once you get inside, we're going to have you disperse. Some go left, some go right, some go up the stairs, and really spread out. We want you to just kind of have a roaming tour. You're on your own. There's food in 2 places in the first floor, so in the atrium, in the players' lounge, which is right behind us, and then the recruiting lounge, which is right up top as well. There is some drinks there, so we're ready to go. And our student athletes, both football and soccer, will be in different locations. And so when you go there, stop and introduce yourself. They're going to tell you a little bit more about that area. They're going to hopefully say thank you as well because we are very appreciative and make sure we do that. So we're going to do kind of a ceremonial march around, and then we'll meet out front. We'll do the ribbon cutting, and then we'll let everybody come in to our Klaus family atrium. All right? I appreciate everybody. You have a question?
We got to open this right. Go green!
Go white!
Go green!
Go white!
Go green!
Go white!
Police star!
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. So just want to remind everyone, home opener September 21st. Hope everybody comes out. We got a 3 o'clock kick against Central Connecticut State. It is family weekend, a lot of family festivities. We'll fire up the video board for the first time and have a lot of excitement. So if we can get our, I just want to say thank you again. Appreciate everybody. If our cheerleaders and student athletes can help lead us, we'll march around and we'll get the ribbon cut and get you guys inside, all right? Thank you so much for coming.